Hi Shweta, welcome to this session. And today we have Career Journeys, Real World, Real Insights, episode number 9. And we have Shweta with us, who is a person who has experience in a couple of fields and has been working since long. And if you allow me, Shweta, I would like to introduce you to the people over here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sachi, for inviting me to your platform. And of course, you have all my permission and my heart to introduce me.
Thank you, Shweta. To share with you her education, she has done her bachelor's in communications and journalism, master's in communication and journalism. She has also done her bachelor's in commerce, as well as diploma in HR from IMT Ghaziabad. Yeah. And she has been working as an entrepreneur since 2005. 2014, 2019 to 20, to 23, 24, and also has a rich experience of working as a radio jockey from 2007 to 2020. Am I right?
Absolutely.
And she is the best communications mentor since August 2020 and has counseled n number of students and parents and helped them to have better relationships and communicate with different methods and techniques. Now, before I go ahead, I would like Shweta to speak up something about her career journey and introduce herself to the people over here.
Hello, everyone. Those of you who are watching me, 𝐂𝐻𝐵𝐻 from Jaipur. I'm based out of Jaipur. And I'd just like to say that I started working really early without even realizing that I was working. So I'll share a little story with your due permission.
Sure.
I was in grade 9 when I took up my first so-called job because it was paid. I was teaching one of my younger students Sanskrit, and I was getting just 1,000 rupees a month. And trust me, that 1,000 rupees was the most priceless that I could have. And my mom used to collect those 2,000 rupees, and gold those days was just 1,700 for 10 grams, and she used to make something out of that gold. And my father used to keep telling me that there's a lot of difference between aap kamai and baap kamai. And trust me, there is. So very early on, I realized I used to cling on to the 1,000 rupees and save them in my piggy bank to buy something at the end of 2-3 months. That's where my journey started, and that's actually where my heart lied in the field of education. Though I was not on the surface very much aware of it. I have been born and brought up in the city of Nawabs and Kebabs, Lucknow. Studied at St. Agnes and Loreto Convent, Lucknow, and then did my first bachelor's with Lucknow University. So I'd just like to share that during my days, my graduation days also, part time, I was teaching in a school, and this was out of choice. And I really connected well with students, and my aim was that I should reach to the student and the child who's not understanding anything, the weakest child. So I used to work around in my lesson plans in such a way without being armored in any degree in B.Ed to simplify the curriculum for the person. And that's where, I picked up that affinity of teaching. And later on, communication attracted me a lot, like you've already shared. So I did my formal education in that field and had hands-on experience, again, working as a radio jockey in Jaipur with All India Radio. But yes, the journey really started. But like I said, my core and my heart lies with children, with parents, with students, with teachers. So last couple of years, I've been mentoring students, and I've been taking communication sessions with with a mission to have them fully expressed, so that they have better relationships and closely knit families and lesser problems for everybody.
That's really nice of you, and thank you for sharing your experience, your journey, how you started getting into teaching and your passion. And it looks like you had discovered your ikigai long back, even when you were graduating, and you started financial management when you were at home, and a lot of learnings happened in your life. Now, before we move ahead, I would like to know from you, you have been working as an entrepreneur since the beginning of your career journey, which many students find it very difficult. That's the first question. How did you start it? And the second question is, what made you choose BCom, Bachelor's in Communication, and what were your subjects in 11th and 12th? So that will help the students of 9th to 12th to decide on and get some clarity on the careers.
So Sachi, I was always the first top 10 students in while studying in school, but I was not only academically oriented, I was into a lot of extracurricular activities like debates and dramatics and quintertles and all of these. Why I'm mentioning is because I believe that as much as academics are important, so is being participated in the extracurricular activities, because in one way or the other there's something that will bloom our personality where we find happiness, and we should in the student life explore those arenas. That is what I very strongly feel, and I feel that having participated in such competitions at school and college level gave me that confidence very early on of speaking in front of public. So that is one thing. Also, I realized that working closely with friends who could not or were not able to express themselves, what was the difficulty that they were facing? It made me very, very, empathetic towards them. It made me think and rethink that what is it that is stopping them. So it started in my subconscious very early on. And like you asked me, what were my subjects? So I'm from the ICSE background, so we have all the subjects in grade 10. And I did my schooling, I'm like ancient, like 1993, I did my grade 10. And after that, I took up the art stream. I had economics, psychology, I had English, I had Hindi, and these were my subjects at the school level in grade 12. After that, when I chose Bachelor's of Commerce, the only reason why I wanted to study Bachelor of Commerce, to be very honest, I did not want to go in an all-girls college. So my mother had sent me, I studied throughout till grade 12 in an all-girls nun school, absolutely disciplined like a nun. And the only reason was that I was very aggressive. And, as a child, and like most children are at that age. So I thought कि मेरे को all girls school में तो जाना नहीं है, मेरे को तो university में पढ़ना है, and I have to do commerce so that I interact with most people. Fortunately or unfortunately, I could not get into the morning shift of the university, so they were running an evening shift, which gave space for me in the morning to use my time. Now, being the person I am, can't sit at home, I said, what should I do in the mornings? Because my classes would begin at 4 o'clock and the university from my house in Lucknow was almost 20 kilometers. So in the morning, in a very nice school in my colony itself, I took up the teaching role, very authentically telling them that I've just done my grade 12. So they brought me in to teach grade 2 or 3. But within a week, they realized that maybe I had more caliber and I could take up grade 7 and 8 and 9 also. So when they asked me that, would you like to teach the senior classes? I said, yeah, why not? Let's try out. And the subject that I was teaching, I'd like to share with everybody, was something that I really love, was geography, because I love traveling. So I've been all over teaching geography, then studying arts, that is economics and psychology, and then going to commerce, which is another field, because I was full of enthusiasm to explore myself. And so many years back, we did not have career counselors, in this way that we have today. And you're very lucky to have a person like Sachi to help you with your subjects and all. We had probably our parents with their limited knowledge sharing what to do. And majorly, the people were either engineers or doctors. And while I was graduating, there was a wave of MBAs happening. So I had taken up commerce. That's how I took up commerce, answering your second question, to explore what is there in the commerce side. And then as a rebellious to study in the Lucknow University, I take up a curriculum which is more interesting and more challenging than merely studying these things. Because like I said, it was not well researched into which field I should be going. So that, I hope, answers all your questions.
Yeah, and I can very well relate to whatever you said, because I'm from Lucknow and I also have studied from Lucknow only. And Lucknow University, you remember IT colleges, they're just next to university. So that was my
Absolutely.
college.
Oh,
And
lovely.
Loreto was next to my school, that was Lucknow Public Collegiate. So I'm aware of everything that happened with you. And one more thing, when you said you were attending night schools, evening schools, and in the morning you were taking classes, so you must have faced some challenges from your parents.
So, Sachi, the only challenge where what I felt at that point of time was the time restriction. अभी मुझे नहीं पता बच्चों को कितना time restriction है, but हमारे and coming from a city like Lucknow, which was not so advanced at that point of time, there were a lot of restrictions. You need to be back by so and so time. If you're traveling by public transport, and if you know there at that time there were tempos that used to operate. So, and it was not a very safe environment. Even wearing jeans in college was a big thing. And I remember there was a lot of eve teasing also. And the person I am, बहुतों की पिटाई भी करी हुई है. So, but what I'm just trying to tell you was that it was not like it is today. Talking to a boy was in itself a huge issue. So, they were like left and right. You can't intermingle with boys. You could not openly talk at that point of time. Society was not so, supportive of such kind of things. And then being from the town that Lucknow was at that point of time, you could not stay out for long because of security, safety reasons. So these were, of course, some of the challenges. But yeah, looking back when I connect the dots, the only challenge that I see was that I sometimes wonder why was I not more clear, or why was there no internet so that I could have served a little earlier, because somewhere there was a little bit of confusion in my mind. And I think that state of from confusion to clarity is beautiful. And if there's someone to handhold you, it is even better. But nevertheless, there are no regrets. That's made me a more expansive person. And I've explored, untouched waters just because I was a little more unclear.
Right. Thanks for sharing, and it was lovely hearing to you. We also would like to know what made you choose bachelor's in communication and journalism, because you had already completed your bachelor's in commerce, and you also did IMT Ghaziabad say diploma in HR. So what made you do bachelor's in communication and journalism and then master's also? What was that fire which was going on within you? And you were already secured. You had a job, you were teaching. So why did you go for further education? What did you learn over there?
So what happened was that again, nobody in the I've been raised up in a joint family, so nobody in my family had ever gone outside the city to study, especially the girls. So when I put the proposal in front of my dad that I want to go out and I study, so the first thing was that why do you want to go out? There's everything in Lucknow. I was like, no, I want to explore a bigger city and I want to be on my own. And he said, okay, so what is it that you want to do? So I told him that, I want to do communication. And at first I said MBA, and I could not clear my CAT. Those of you who are listening, I was not that intelligent. Yes, but I cleared my math and I got through some very good colleges at that point of time. But my dad was a little restrictive that because of the timings of the college and the hostel facilities and all, he was a little scared. But yet he gave into it that, okay, you can go and study in Delhi. And that's where my communication studies started. And the best part of the curriculum that I had taken up was there also in the morning, they used to make us do the applied part. So the Delhi School of Communication, that's where I started my journey in communication. So the morning was you do three months of internships, either with a PR firm or with a television company. So you do the practical work and evenings were classes. So I started that journey. But after doing a year and 2 months of my course, I got married. So that was a half fulfilled degree or a dream. And I got into from Delhi to Jaipur. And it was an arranged marriage because of my parents. So somewhere deep down within me was the urge to complete that degree one. And secondly, during a conversation, I have two kids. One is 17 and the other one is 23 right now. So one day I was sitting with my children and they were like, Mom, you don't know these days. We have so many distractions and it's very competitive out there and it's very difficult to top in the class. It's very difficult in itself to, complete something what you start with. You wouldn't ever understand. I said, why do you say so? They said, no, 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 no. Your expectations are very high and the times are very difficult. I said, okay, throw a challenge. And they said, okay, if you really want to do something, complete your degree and do something. And I was working at that time as a radio jockey and I took this up as a challenge very seriously. I did not tell them. I quietly went and enrolled myself at the Kota University, Journalism and Communication Center. And I kept on studying along with managing my joint family, along with managing my work and whatever else I was doing. I didn't tell them. They only knew during the time of exams that Mama had exams. So those were the 10, 15 days when I actually told everybody in the family that I have exams. So I would need your support in terms of, managing the day-to-day works, those, because I'll be taking my exams. Then that's when they came to know. And with the zest of proving myself to my children, with the challenge that I took up, I took my bachelor's degree. And to just let you know, I topped it with a gold medal. And they were completely awestruck. And then I went on to do my master's. And ever since then, they do not challenge me and they do understand that, if you're passionate about something and if you really want to do something, then I'm the kind of parent who will walk the talk. I would show them with a testimony. If it's possible for me with 10 more things, it's definitely possible for you.
So Shweta is unstoppable and she's leading by examples. She's following her passion. She's accepting challenges. She's setting role models for the children. Great, 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 great. Hats off to you, Shweta.
No, thank you so much, Sachi. I think the child in me is still alive and I want to keep it alive.
Yeah.
Because I believe problems will come. It's not that when you stop failing, that's important. It's when you fail actually when you just don't stand up and face it. So they've always seen that if a problem has come, I've just been through it and I've been like, okay, what's the solution? Let's change the focus from the problem to the solution. So, and as a family, we've been very open. We discuss these things so that, and I've never given them that picture perfect that, parents are never in a stress mode or parents are the ideal. Of course, we have our lows and highs. We also go through bad days. And we also, we are not perfect. We are learning on the way because parenting doesn't come with a manual. We all want the best for our children, but I'm open to telling them that, okay, I made a mistake and I apologize. It was unintentional. So that has worked for me.
Yeah. So here we have a learning for both students and parents listening to this video. Follow your passion, listen to your heart, make mistakes, don't try to be perfect and just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it and keep that inner child alive within you.
Yes, because I believe that is something, will keep you growing.
Yeah.
So I have never stopped learning. As much as they learn, every year I keep a certain sum amount for my learning. And it can be in any field. So I'm an arhatic level pranic healer. I've done a lot of trainings with the likes of Priya Kumar and many other international trainers like Blair Singer, Thaddeus Lawrence. And it's been an ongoing journey since years. Because the times today, trust me, Sachi, we are living have made us realize that you have to learn and learn every single day.
True. Learning is continuous process and to survive and to grow, we need to continuously update and upskill ourselves, definitely. With that, we would like to go ahead and ask you further. You have done your bachelor's in communication and journalism and you have also worked as radio jockey. So would you like to share your insights into the educational journey of communications and journalism? And what was your role when you were working as a radio jockey? What do they teach you in communication and journalism? And as you said in the first part, it was more of practical learning and less of theoretical. So what kind of educational journey is this?
So when I was doing this broad curriculum, the first time when I did my half communication from Delhi, at that point of time, the curriculum was very wide. They had marketing, they had branding, they had advertising, they had the elements of communication, media, lot of things. And like I shared, every 3 months we were put on to internships. So the first place where I worked was a PR firm, and we were taught how to make PR scripts. And the account that I was handling was at that point of time a company which has now grown very, very big, Study by Janak. If you know, they're into garments. Now they've expanded a lot. That time they were only in South Delhi as a small store, but we were handling the PR for them, and the PR firm was handling, and couple of other they had couple of other clients. So how to write PR script for them, how and what kind of events we could do for them. All that was taught on the job, apart from meeting the client and understanding his brief and what was expected from us to deliver, because we were interns there. Then I got an opportunity to work at 𝐿 and I was in their market research team. And at that time, the advertisement of dairy milk had come up. You remember the girl coming in the big cricket match, and she's like, "Kya ख्वाब है जिंदगी?" And also, we had these sheets of market research going, and going to places like cinema halls outside and asking people to fill in, because those days you have to understand, we didn't have internet and we didn't have those Google review forms or anything of that sort. So there were those piles and piles of paper we used to take, and
I did that.
yeah, so request people to fill in their reviews, to figure out what is the recall of the advertisement, what is it they got from it or what they didn't like about it. So I did that for that campaign. I did something like that. Then for a couple of months, I worked with Times of India, and there I learned how the print medium operates, how you have to write your columns, or how the entire system operates, what is the front desk like, what's the printing desk like, and how you manage. So that was some experience that I gauged there. Then, like the second question that you asked me, the radio part of it. So when I got married in Jaipur, and I came into a big joint family, I was told that you could only work in the family business or do another business of yours. And I did not know a single person in Jaipur apart from my family. So, and I told my husband after 2 years of marriage that, I cannot just be in the four walls. This is not who I am. I would never be happy, so I can't keep anybody happy. So he told me that without disturbing the system, what can you do? So then I spoke to one of my extended co-sister-in-laws, and she shared that you can do the Vani certificate course and then appear for the exam. And if you clear, you can be a part of the All India Radio, team of radio jockeys, because there we needed to work once or twice a week. So it was not like a full-time job. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to neglect the house, yet I'm going to get an opportunity to express and expand my wings. So that's my journey of radio jockeying started. So first I used to do the afternoon shows, and with All India Radio, it's everything done by you. We do the conceptualization, then along with the program manager, we do the scripting ourselves. Then we work on softwares with 2 to 3 computers. Then we learn how to operate the console for music. Then we handle interviews, we do the phone calls. So you become like that actually lady with Ashtang, art heart, and you're doing everything at the same time. So that actually gave me extreme focus, because anybody of you hearing me out, on radio, a second of pause also is a gap. So your efficiency comes within seconds and goes within microseconds. So you have to be quick, you have to be vigilant, you have to be active, you have to be on your seat toes, sitting as if there are, thorns all over, and for 3 hours. So that experience really gave me my wings to spread, my heart to express. And in those closed rooms, I found back my voice, I found back myself. And those were the times where people could not see you because there was no Instagram. So they could only hear you. So it started giving me a different identity from just being somebody's wife or being somebody's mother. It gave me wings of expression, and people started loving me for my naughtiness, for my voice, and the kind of programs that I was making. And my writing skills honed up there, and my efficiency. So I learned how to work on softwares so that we could have seamless music. Um, so that was it. So I kept active with my gray cells working, learning new things, and I got back who I was. So the experience in the radio jockeying world was fabulous for me because it brought back to me.
You have been setting examples of continuing and following your passion, raising your voice, setting boundaries. And that's all what is missing these days. And kids and parents need to learn a lot from you. And no doubt you're the reason you're a communications coach. Thank you for sharing. And let me speak just one few more things. The kind of experience you have shared for radio jockey is very vast, and it shows that a person who is working in this field have to be very alert, vigilant, active. We would also like to know the difficulty level of the paper, if you remember even 1%. Is it something students need to learn a lot, study a lot to prepare for that exam, or just the basic aptitude they can clear that exam?
So I would say one thing that when you're working with All India Radio, this examination and certification is a process. But children these days, they feel that it's an oldies channel. So they would rather want to do, a live Instagram or want to go for other private channels like Radio Mirchi or Radio City and all of these. Here, the pattern is completely different. With these channels, you get a slot that is yours, and you have to take in an interview, and then there's a systematized training that happens for you. So that's the process. And here a lot of different things again happen with the private channels. They will have somebody handling for you probably the extended work, but you are just supposed to do your basic speaking. The rest is taken care of. Also, after COVID, there's been a trend of recording your programs, and you can operate from anywhere and just put your program there along with the selected music. So the way of operation of a private channel, because private channel gives you a lot of a bigger visibility, and because it is continuous, and you are there for like 7 days in a week at a particular time spot, so it gives you a bigger identity. But their process is completely different. But like you asked me, what is required for the entrance of an All India Radio exam? Till 2018-19, what I remember, every year you are supposed to take another exam after exam. Every year it happens. One is the Vani certificate that you can be a radio jockey. Thereafter, every year to be on their panel of radio jockeys, you have to appear for an exam, and that exam requires to have knowledge about the regional language. For example, I was in Rajasthan, so regional language to a certain extent. Apart from that, a lot of knowledge about current affairs and some knowledge about certain ways to draft your program in the radio transcript. How would it go? For example, you are to introduce somebody like MS Dhoni. Suppose you're doing a live interview with MS Dhoni. So if that is an opportunity, you are allotted 3 minutes. So you, before talking to Mr. Dhoni, you should have what are you talking about? What is it that you want from him? Because radio time is very expensive, and all that we are trained into. So, but yes, of course, if you are a radio jockey, you need to be aware. You need to have your own distinctive style, because there are love channels. Some jockeys only doing those. Some like Nilesh Mishra, he's into storytelling. So he's known for his storytellings. So you need to understand what you are good at and what kind of program your voice would best suit. So what a program suits for an evening voice would not be very apt for a night voice. That soothingness has to be there. What kind of particular voice that suits for a morning show? You can't have somebody talking like, good morning, low in energy. Morning has to be bright and vibrant and somebody full of life and bringing that through their voice to everybody across. So they see your voice, then what is your specialty and what you can offer. That's how the private channels work. But for All India Radio, there is a written exam every year, followed by a voice test that they call, which is both on content and the texture of voice, and followed by a one-on-one interview at your center.
That's a very rich sharing for the students who want to have a career in this field. You need to identify your uniqueness, appear for the exams, reappear every year and keep yourself updated, and just be confident and take it up. Yeah. And I feel your educational background of communications and journalism has contributed a lot to this.
Yeah, so what happens is that at some point of time, when you are studying about the various mediums of communication, you study about radio also, the history of radio, though you would never use it. But when it comes to taking up an exam, if they ever ask you, that comes on handy. Also, it is more theoretical, or if they tell you in the book that the way to write a particular radio script is this. Suppose you're talking about, you're talking to a doctor, you're doing an interview with a doctor. So how would you interview him? So there are certain things you need to keep in mind. What kind of songs would go? What is the mood of the program? What is the time of its telecast? What should be the duration of the song? It teaches you immense time management. So, we micro time the songs. The newer songs are generally 3.5 to 4 minutes. And the 80, 90 songs used to be 6.5 minutes. So in between my conversation of 1.5, 2 minutes, how do I place the songs? Are they gelling with my theme? What I'm talking, is it breaking, or is it distracting the person too much? What is my target audience going to hear? Can I have, in the morning, can I play very, so I'm talking with particular regards to All India Radio, but with the other channels, you have a list of songs that come to you, which have been sent, and accordingly, and the working on the list has been done by them already. So there are different ways of working as per the channels and their norms. But what I'm just trying to share with you is it teaches you extreme time management and understanding your target audience. That is everywhere. Even if you're doing any business, you need to know who's your target audience. What would they like to hear? Do they like loud music? What kind of, what would they like to hear? What is the genre? When are you playing? What is the mood of the program? Imagine you're talking about heart attacks and suddenly you play a song which is, Balam Pichkari. It doesn't match with the theme. Something like a Love You Zindagi would work. That sensibility of nuances you learn with experience.
With experience, and all this was covered in the curriculum?
So see, now again, the format has changed. When I was studying, it was more of theory and a little bit of case study and application. But today, when I teach children, like I was during COVID, I was asked to create a curriculum around radio jockeying for one of the universities in Jaipur. I made it completely an online game playing kind of a curriculum. They were the nuances of what I was teaching them, but I would always ask them to role play by becoming a radio jockey on a topic, or to conduct an interview live between 2, 3 students, because I believe how you're playing on the ground really matters. The theory would be helpful in a certain way, but to work it out on the ground is very, very important. So I believe in that now times have changed and we as teachers are mere facilitators. How interesting we can make for students is what's very important, because I cannot teach a student आज सब कुछ social media पे इतना content है, YouTube पे इतना कुछ है. Why should they come to me to learn? What is it for them? Where am I adding value? That's very important when I'm going out and being with the students. So my way of teaching is very application based. And of course, later on, once the lecture is done through the activity, then I tell them the finer nuances that this is what is the content and you can go back. And similarly, I like questioning children also more on application. And now they allow you. And once you've understood how to apply it, I think to write it is far more easier.
Right. So based on your education, your experience, your own insights, your passion, it's everything merged together and then the learning is getting passed on. Right.
Absolutely.
Now, I have another question for you. Now, those students, in your case, you took a different line, but the students who do masters in communication and journalism, like what are the job opportunities available for them? Is it more of corporate or PR or what it is?
So I think, Sachi, the world's really opened up today.
Hmm.
You can be a PR expert, you can be a consultant, internal, external communication, you can be a copywriter, you can be a podcaster, you can be a content creator, you can be a journalist. That's one of it, because but it doesn't pay you a lot. You can be a journalist come influencer. So you can be a blogger. You can be a part of any television channel. You can be an anchor or a host to a channel. You can work behind the scenes, coordinating all the communication for, the PR that handles for the firm. You can be an external agent managing, for various corporate communication. You can internal, external communication of corporate. So there are a plethora of jobs available. And what I feel is that, it's not like communication se bahut sare jobs nikal rahe. Vice versa, communication is one of the very essential skills for all jobs that you're doing.
Right.
If you're a teacher, then also you need to be a good person in communication. If you are into, if you are a top leader, or if you are, branding person, then also you need to be a good communicator. In fact, if you are a good mother, father, you need to be a good communicator. That clogging or lack of communication leads to a lot of problems. So I believe it's one of the very important skills that has to be there in an individual. And the best part is that it is a skill. It can be learnt. So there's nothing to be scared about it. You can always upgrade it. And here I'd like to add, Sachi, लोगों के मन में बहुत ज्यादा fear है कि शायद अंग्रेजी बोलने से या फ्रेंच बोलने से या स्पेनिश बोलने से, it gives you that upper edge. Gone past are the days. Look at Nancy Tyagi. She's proved everybody wrong. The moment you embrace yourself the way you are with confidence, the world takes you. People know Ashutosh Rana for his Hindi. आप जो भाषा बोलो अच्छे से बोलो, लोग दुनिया में जाते हैं, इवन फॉर दैट मैटर मिस्टर मोदी जी, व्हेन ही ट्रैवल्स अब्रॉड ही स्पीक्स इन हिंदी, देयर इज अ ट्रांसलेटर. सामने वाले को आपकी भाषा कितनी सहजता सरलता से समझ आ रही है, दैट इज द ओनली aim of a language, to make yourself understood. You're not sitting there to impress people. It has to be simple and understanding, and authentic, honest, that people can see through.
That's a very important insight for the students who are on the verge of making their career decisions. So school is a ground where they can polish themselves, open up themselves, speak the language they're comfortable with, and just carry on them with this particular language. Yeah.
Yeah, though I believe that if you really want to learn English, there is no problems. That can be again worked upon. But don't hold yourself from expression just because you cannot speak in English. It's okay to speak in good Hindi, or to speak in Hindi rather than to speak in a broken language, which you're not comfortable and which makes you conscious as a human being.
So accept yourself the way you are and open up and speak. Let the world.
Yeah, because I believe Flossom is awesome. We are all there with our flaws. So embrace your Flossom awesome self.
Yeah, not trying to be perfectionist. Great. Thank you for sharing. And with that, we come to the last part of the episodes today. You have been an entrepreneur throughout, other than your educational and various adventurous areas you have been sharing with us. Would you like to share your entrepreneurial journey with us?
Yeah, so I would say that this again comes from my father, because he was a businessman. And every time we were going from one place to the other, he used to say, let's see what is the ROI, that is the return on investment. So very intelligently, when we were moving from one place to the other, if I was going back from Jaipur to Lucknow, I used to carry back some goodies from here to share it with my family back home, apart from gifts, and put a little price. And coming from there, extended, I used to get Lucknowis here. So that's very organically how the journey of an entrepreneur started. And then I started putting exhibition of garments here. Then later on, I started a garment store here because people used to like my Indian wear. So especially my Lucknowis. So that's where the journey started. And I kept doing that and I'm still doing that. But now it's on automated mode because I realized that, my passion lies towards teaching. And I don't want to get into the nitty gritties of everyday hassles of having a big garment business. So that's one business that is on automated mode post COVID and which is operational now. So for 2, 3 days in a week that I take up with my staff, and most of the machinery I've outsourced it to them only, and they are on orders I work. So they do the stuff and give me, so that's one source of income, the garments. The second business that I more actively involved in is with my husband into light, sound, and projection. And we have a parent company in the name of Chopra's, which is into light, sound, and projection. And there I handle for him, the client meetings and his communications. So that I help him out with. That's the second business. And then, of course, I do a couple of events which are specifically for corporates and NGOs. And those are entirely MICE events that I do. So, like you asked me, my entrepreneurial journey is also a bit scattered. Some of them are now automated, and some of them I'm serving, almost for a, 3 to 4 days in a week. So, because they've been there for a while now. So, or I have a team ready to serve me for that. So that's about my entrepreneurial journey. And of course, every entrepreneurial journey is full of challenges. तो अगर खुद का बिजनेस कर रहे हो तो दुगना काम करना पड़ेगा, दुगनी मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. But when the right time comes, तो दुगना पैसा भी मिलता है.
Right.
It's just like you do, but you have to be there. So I wouldn't say that, success comes really easy. It takes many, many years. And sometimes, like I shared in my garment business, I realized that probably this is where I don't want to grow myself. I want to put it at a, base size, but focus somewhere else. So you even realize that maybe this is not something that is serving you at that moment, in terms of happiness and who I am.
So basically, right now you are into 3 of them. One is the garments, which you started, which is non-automation, also helping your husband's business in communication. And you have your own coaching for communications, right?
Yes, yes.
3 of them doing all together. What is your advice to the budding entrepreneur students who want to be like you? And how do you take care of your health and personal life along with this?
So, Sachi, one thing at a time. I wouldn't say at the moment you can see that I'm doing 3 things, but when I started, it was one.
Yeah.
And I did it for a while. And when I felt after, say, 5 or 7 years, where do I want to take it now for the next 5 years? Then I made my mind shift, or then I decided whether I want to put it on automated mode with a little smaller size, whether this is what I can want to continue on a bigger scale, or where I want to contribute partially. So that's the decision. But when you start, you have to start with one thing and you have to give your focus and attention into that one thing at that point of time. So that is one suggestion. And the second question that I resume that you asked me, how do I manage my family and my health along with this?
Yeah. So especially your health and multiple roles you play.
Okay. So I believe that all of us have 24 hours. And anybody is, your family is, yes, very, very important, integral part of you. But you are the most important part. Yes, I'm asking you to be selfish. And I don't deny that. So there is very important thing called me time. I take my solo journeys. I love traveling. I go on my women's trips once a year. And I do my me time every single day. So, self-introspection, spending time with yourself, what has worked for you, what has not worked for you, has been my practice for the longest possible time. I think it really works for me how I look through my day as to where I'm going and where I started. on a daily basis. So there are certain, rituals that I follow. So that's something that has worked very well. And then I'm very conscious about, I'm not one of the thinnest people, but I'm one of the fittest people. So I believe that you have to be a bundle of energy. So what I want to say is that uh, take very good care of my mental food. Apart from my physical food, where I spend 45 minutes every day doing my physical activity, because unless you are healthy, you can't do anything. So that's something which I follow. And I'm very conscious about my mental food. Not that I'm not on social media handles, not that I don't spend time, watching videos. I do. But then I'm very conscious of what I'm watching. Is it serving me? Is it not serving me? What am I putting into my mental? So I do not, some people, I'm a big Bollywood buff, but I do not spend much time on Netflix. Not that I'm outdated, but somehow for certain series, I don't resonate with the language. Some which work for me, I watch them. But then there's a time. Whatever time I sleep, I try to sleep by 11, but I get up at 4:35 because I believe my spiritual being needs to be there in the Brahma Muhurat. So I have my morning ritual. I'm a Krishna conscious follower. So every morning I do my 16 malas, I chant, and that's my power booster. So I believe that your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual self makes you complete. And that helps me juggle into different roles. And yes, by the end of the day, I don't feel upset when I tell people no. There are certain things which I would refuse. And if you really want to get something out of me, I am very much well available on WhatsApp. But if you want to do something with me, you have to tell me at least 2 3 days in advance because I do plan my day. So it's not like we randomly, unless it's something that if suppose the CM calls me tomorrow, there I can't say no, I will try to figure out. But unless the sky is falling, there are certain things that I've drawn up for myself. So I do not just appear for instant calls, especially not for money. Even if you give me a lakh of rupees and you tell me that, you have to be there just like that. I don't. I want to do my homework. I want to be 100%. I don't want to just take the money from you, but I want to deliver you value worth 2 lakhs. Because I believe that end of the day, we have that karmic connection. I didn't know that you were from Lucknow. There was something about your energy which attracted me when we met first. And I believe that out of the millions and millions of people, we meet just a handful. So be with them like this is your last moment. That is what I would like to say.
Thank you for sharing. And for all the parents and students listening and watching this video, so you need to take care of yourself, your me time, your mental health, and your physical health all together in a single day. And try to keep those time blocks and just follow them strictly. Yeah. And one last question, if you allow me. Now,
Yeah, sure.
these days, there are students and parents, and most of us, we communicate on phones, WhatsApp, messages, social media. But still, there is a lot of disconnect between the people. So people are connected on phones, mobiles, WhatsApp, social media, but one-to-one and with the emotional connect, that's missing. So would you like to share, being a coach, what is your take on this?
So, Sachi, I believe there has to be, like any other organization in the family, also certain rules. For example, I can just share my example. During the eating hour, especially the dinner time, that's the time when more or less everybody is there at home. We try to not look at our phones consciously for 20 days, 20 minutes, and ask each other how our day went so that we are in loop of what is happening in the other person's life. Then maybe once or twice a week, we just sit to play silly games like even today we play Saap Sidi. We play those old games, which require less of your brain. But the idea is to have a good conversation with my family at that point of time, or just nothing else. Just doing. I tell you what the problem is, that we don't want to be in the zone of doing nothing. But actually, it is from nothing that something can be created. So if you want to do work double, you need to take a pause. It can just be a simple walk with your child, just holding his hand, sometimes even not saying anything. And at least hugging your child once or twice a day, that gives that reassurance. Hugs are the best, the best form of making one feel that you are cared and loved. Sometimes words don't do so much as silence do. So my request and urge to the parents is, I understand you are busy. I totally understand you've had a long day. But if you have a child, he or she is your responsibility. Please do not say that I spend, quality time with the child. Sometimes the child needs your quantity time. Or you should be available 24/7. They should have that little liberty, at least with parents, to be able to call them even in the middle of the night if they're dealing with something. Because if you don't hear, they'll express it somewhere else. And trust me, there's nobody else who can give that child the best advice other than the parents. So we need to go back to our roots. If we organize our day a little better, probably we can spend more time with the children. And then you can do little activities. Why can't on a chutti, do a dish with the children? Why not involve them with so if the mother is cooking, or even if your staff is cooking, why don't you request the child to set up the table for you? Assign your other child to probably clean up the table. Make them a part of your house. It should not be like a place where you're just coming or food is being ordered from outside. Do little things, but those little things will lead to bigger repercussions and bigger bonding. So it can be something as simple as playing a game, or going out for a walk, or just cooking a meal together, or just going for a art therapy class, or even simple things, just sitting by the beach because you are in a place like Mumbai. So it's just a day off for a couple of hours, just going and sitting with your child and looking at the sun and nothing else.
These solutions are very valuable, and all the parents and students who are listening, they can follow them. Now, I would like to know from your experience, what are those 3 challenges you have been working as a communications coach, which most of the students are facing with respect to their communication with their parents, especially? Any 3 major challenges you have seen, which most of them are facing these days?
So all the children tell me कि मम्मी पापा समझते ही नहीं है, उनको पता ही नहीं हम कहाँ से बात कर रहे हैं. उनको, let me tell you, they are your parents. Some parents may not know, but eventually we are your parents. And if you're a parent, please don't be a buddhu parent. As I said, learn, uplearn, unlearn, skill yourself, try to know your child. What all is he watching? What is the history? And yes, help them sort their circadian rhythm, sleep in time, wake up on time. And I believe that that's what the children say. Mummy, papa ko samajh hi nahi aata. Or see, even to the parents and to the children, I'd like to say, what you say is important, but how you say is more important.
Exactly.
Even we need to understand कि उनकी body में इतने changes हो रहे हैं, इतना लंबा लंबा स्कूल है, इतना बड़ा बड़ा स्कूल का stress है, that sometimes on a daily basis you keep asking them, na, you'll actually come to know what happened, because they are dealing with new relations, with new friends. They're dealing with that pressure of social media to be heard and seen. भाई दुनिया तो बाद में hear see करेगी, आप तो कर लो. If you want your children's attention, you have to give them attention. As simple as that. And then children also tell me that, हम उनको समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, वो ऐसे बना देते हैं रूटीन और स्केड्यूल कि हम फॉलो ही नहीं कर पाते. So you don't have to boss them. You don't own your children. You are just a facilitator sent by God. You're blessed to have them in your womb as nurturers. You have to nourish and nurture them, not own them. So what you can do, be a team. Together, everyone achieves more. And the first team that you form is with your family. So be very clear of what you want from your child. Be very clear with what you want from your parents. You can both talk it out. That's the best part. Then if you are setting up a schedule, parents, please don't tell them. Ask them what would work from them. Some children might want to get up at 5 and work out. Some children might want to come back and work at 6:30. Some people might like to work out by walking. Some children might like just playing a badminton and then sweating out. So understand your child, make him a part of what is important to him, and make him a part of his team for his betterment. Sit with him, spend time, set up his monthly goals, weekly goals, and as he achieves, you can have some rewards. And these are, so there are many, many ways that we can go on and on and on talking about. But what I would say, like you asked, what are the three major problems? So the one problem is that my parents don't understand. Then my parents force themselves upon us. So that's another solution that I've told, make them a part of their team, because ultimately it's their life. And thirdly, please do not compare your child with yourself or other children. Like I said, everybody is unique. Blossom is awesome. Your child can be a bamboo, which can take years and years to come up and show and then grow very fast. Or your child can be a rose, or your child can be any other plant. You don't know. So please don't compare with other people in the class. Everybody has a different learning curve. Everybody has a different way of absorbing things. The more you spend time, and the more the child spends time with himself and you spend time, you'll figure out where he's coming from, where she's coming from, and what works best for him. So no comparisons.
Great sharing today, Shweta, starting from your educational journey, your subject choices, your marriage, the challenges and the adventures you had. Moving on to your challenges thrown to you by your children, taking up more by your job as a radio jockey, and then taking up businesses, and then your insights and experience as a communications coach. I believe this was a holistic session for any student or a parent attending over here, and I'm sure they would like to connect with you after listening to this. So would you like to share how can they connect with you in case they want to?
Certainly. My phone number is 8290-554433. You can WhatsApp me, giving me the reference of Sachi, and you can be in communication with me over message, or you can go and follow me on Instagram as Shweta77 Chopra, direct message me. But WhatsApp is more easily accessible to me. Otherwise, my email ID is shwetachopra50@yahoo.in. That is shwetachopra50@yahoo.in. And I'd request Sachi that while she's putting up this video for you, she will write these down in text form, so that, in case you miss out on something or you don't misspell something in terms of connecting with me. And I would also want to add one more thing to Sachi while closing up is, think big and think about others. It's not just about you. Collaborations are the key to success. And I did not mention during my interview, but I'd like to just share with you that I've been the chairwoman for FICCI Flow Jaipur, which is the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. It's a business chamber women wing, where I was heading 800 women entrepreneurs. So that's a key role that I have been in. And along with that, I've been the chairwoman for ASSOCHAM Women Wing also. So when you are in a space to give out, please reach out to more people. You do not know who needs you. So whatever you feel for, whatever you can be in service of, please reach out to people who really need it, with or without money. And of course, like I said, the times are there to collaborate and come together and make this world a better place for everybody. Because had Sachi not approached me or asked me or collaborated with me, I could not have reached out to you. I couldn't have met all the wonderful people who are listening to me. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful to you, Sachi, for this beautiful session. And even if one person has heard it till the end, or even if one person carries away just one thing from here today, from our conversation, I would feel that my job's done. Because I believe that if I can reach out to people and be of service, that's the biggest thing that I could do.
Thank you for your sharing and your learning and your journeys. We are all blessed to have you in this session. That's what all I can say. You are an example, and students and parents, both of them have had good learnings from here. So thank you for being over here. And just before ending, if any of the students want to get your career clarity done, we are there for you. You can approach us anytime. And I will definitely share your contact details in text writing. Yeah. And with that, we end this session. Thank you, Shweta.
Thank you.